Now let's find the rhythmic bass to go with your song. It's possible to choose several rhythmic basses, but let's have a look at an example. And remember, we're not calling the words lyrics yet, because for the moment they're just a group of words and rhymes. And we're not talking about music yet either, we're talking about rhythm. So, step 1, the words, the syllables, the stresses and the rhymes. Let's get them all together on a piece of paper and make sure that the syllables are marked with hyphens and that the stresses are marked with apostrophes. Here, for example, is my first line with its rhymes, showing what I mean. I've highlighted the stressed syllables just to make it easier to see them, because the apostrophe mark in some places it's difficult to see, especially if we use contracted forms of the words like can't, where you'd have an apostrophe between the N and the T. And at this point you have a choice to make changes to those stresses wherever you find it's necessary, or where you decide that you feel a stress should be in another place. Here's an example, for instance. I could decide, instead of having I see mimosa trees covered in yellow flowers, where the word flowers would be stressed, I could decide to drop the word flowers and say, well, I'm going to have I see mimosa trees covered in yellow, and then I would give the stress to the word yellow. So I hope that you're beginning to get my point about sentence stress. It allows you to change the message, to change the mood in what you're saying. Right, now the next step. The next step is to fit the words to a rhythmic bass. To do this, first of all, find a place where you can work uninterrupted and where the noise of your metronome will not bother anybody else. I find there's nothing that breaks my concentration more than thinking that I'm bothering somebody with what I'm doing. So in this step, have the words neatly written on a large piece of paper with lots of space around the edges. Even if by now you have your words in your computer, smart pad, smartphone or other digital device, I still recommend that you work on paper. Okay, so what we want to do now is to take all of the words and syllables that we've arranged from exercise 5, we've cut them into syllables, we've put the stresses on the syllables we feel should be stressed, and now what we want to do is to fit them into a rhythmic bass. What we'll do is we'll experiment with a rhythmic bass of 3 and a rhythmic bass of 4, okay? Metronome handy. I'm not now talking about binary or ternary, I'm now just talking about the number of beats in each bar. And I suggest you record yourself doing this. This is why we have our microphone or recording device. So set the microphone going and then just forget it. Set the metronome going. I've set it on 3 beats to the bar. Okay, to start with. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 120 beats to the minute. Now remember, what we want to do is on the first beat of the bar is to put a stressed syllable. Okay? Now taking my example, which you'll see on the screen here, you'll see my original line with the rhymes underneath. I see mimosa trees covered in yellow flowers. that shows the stresses. I see mimosa, she said, I chose her. Covered in yellow, quite a strange fellow. Mimosa trees covered, while buzzing bees hovered. In yellow flowers, she waited for hours. Okay, that all seems very mixed and garbled. But what we want to do, let's just experiment. We'll set the metronome going, set the microphone going, and see what we come up with. Now I'm doing this in real time too. Okay. Mosa trees. Okay, so that was Mosa trees, covered in flowers. I Mosa, cheated, I chose her, covered, yellow, quite a. So, do you see what's happening? It's three. We've got 3 beats. So, and we're putting the stress on the first beat. So we're looking for groups of syllables, and you know, they don't have to make immediate sense. What they need to do is to flow inside that rhythm. So, quite a strange fellow. Now, with the word fellow, there are only 2 syllables. So I'm saying fellow and then leaving a gap, leaving a rest. Fellow, time to breathe. But you could just as easily fill in that gap with another word. Fellow me. Mosa trees. I suggest you tap your feet while listening to the beat. What you will notice is that if you've set it to 4 beats to each bar, you will go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. That's 2 bars, okay? And if you set it to 3 beats to the bar, it will be left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. You see what I mean? And what you should do is start reading the words from anywhere. Absolutely, this is very important. From anywhere. You've simply got a rhythmic pattern going on. You're looking at your words that you have, and you just start reading them from anywhere. But very important that you start reading from a stress. Pick one of the stressed words and here enjoy this. It's a bit of fun. You'll come up with all sorts of strange things, but as you do so, keep the rhythm moving in your body or your feet. And as soon as you come up with something that you feel is a message or you like it, stop, note it down. Now in this first song, you may think it feels and sounds very wooden, and you're not wrong. But the first exercise is to get used to finding words, stresses, syllables, and then placing them on a rhythmic bass. Once you learn to do that, you will then be able to displace those stresses according to how you feel. Let me give you an example. Let's take this, the girl from Ipanema. So let's take that as the rhythmic bass. It's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we would be writing tall and tan and young and lovely. The girl from Ipanema goes walking. And so on, very wooden. Whereas the song itself, on the same rhythmic bass, displaces the words, and it isn't stuck on the first beat of the bar. But while singing, the pulse, as we call it, was staying very strictly on the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So listen again and you'll feel what's called the syncopation. The important thing is to get over the first hurdle, working with the rhythmic bass. Then you, once you've got your song, can then move it about to get a certain kind of feel. Okay?